We all remember our first time. Some of you are still waiting, but for the adults in the room, it is a memory that never leaves you. Maybe you're a bit nervous and apprehensive at first, not sure what the buttons do or what you're allowed to touch or where you're allowed to go, but luckily, you've got a partner there to guide you along the way, teaching you how to properly grip that sword while helping you discover all of those secret special spots. I miss summer camp. What I'm trying to say is that first impressions mean a lot, and the early hours of a gaming experience can easily make or break it. Sometimes we instantly fall in love and are forever linked to it, while on the other hand, we can be turned off by a terrible introduction our first attempt, maybe due to miscommunication or our own inexperience, leading us to missing out on what could have been a very fulfilling game. So we're going to be taking a closer look at a beloved classic that's already been reviewed to death to try and figure out why people actually enjoyed playing it in the first place. This is Zelda, Legend of Link's Awakening, Twilight of the Skyward Pass. Obviously, we like looking at weird, obscure stuff over here, trying to hit games that were a huge inspiration to our comics and other projects that people just may not be all that aware of, while discovering a hidden gem or two along the way. But then you've got the heavy hitters like this one, games that everyone on the planet have covered in every possible way. So are we supposed to pretend things like Final Fantasy or Mother just don't exist and ignore everything we've learned from them? Hell, maybe I just really wanted to play the game. We don't need an excuse to talk about things we love now, do we? Point being, we needed a gimmick. And the dipshit who lets me sleep on their piss-stained couch happened to have one.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Sorry, I meant excuse me, bitch.
Watch it now.
To get at what Ami was saying, Link to the Past may be old, but it set some early adventure RPG rules, laid down the fundamentals of how to perfectly direct the player using mostly subtle visuals and no forced hand-holding. It has puzzles just challenging enough to entertain an adult, while not being too obtuse for a younger child to eventually figure out with a little effort. And since we are currently working on our own little RPG project in the background, it made sense to let Ami do a run as a first-time player, so we can look at it from that point of view and create a better game ourselves.
That's all you, guy. I'm here to have fun. So how about a little less of the yapping and you let me get started with the damn game in the first place? So we jump right on in. Linky Boy is fast asleep, gets a distress call from Zelda, asking him to come to the castle for some cake or something, before he is awakened to find this random fat dude, I'm guessing it's his roommate or something, and that guy thinks Zelda was talking to him, so he mistakenly heads out on a suicide mission. Now, full admission, kinda just watched the Jason Greaves review, big fan of it. Liked the little sketch about Wingus and Dingus doing their first little run, somewhat inspired us to do this. However, I am no dingus and obviously grabbed the treasure chest before heading out. This also ain't my first Zelda game, though I've only really briefly touched some of the more recent releases. I've probably spent more time in Hyrule Warriors if we're being honest. It's got hot DOA versions of all the waifus from the series kicking ass, of course that one's my fave. And if you've got a fave Zelda waifu, let us know down in the comments. I might cosplay him.
Pregnant Midna.
Never mind, Castle, that's where we're going now. Shut up. So yeah, you watch the intro vid with the exposition, it kinda shows you where it's at. Plus, kinda like how you always know to go right in a platformer, I think Castle in an RPG-ish game, I go north. Boom, found it. Can't get in the front door? No prob. Zelda instantly chimes in to let us know we need to go looking for a hidden path. And 2 seconds later, we got one being obviously telegraphed. And I kinda love how the game does this. We don't need to have the yellow paint debate. That horse has been beaten. Plus, having waypoints of some sort is just something you have to accept. It really comes down to how you integrate it. And I much prefer the more natural look you see in this game, using tiles from the environment to basically point you at the things you need to pay attention to in the room. We fall down that hole, a new path is revealed. 2 minutes in and I'm already encouraged to explore. But first we run into our bro from back at the apartment, bleeding out like a chump. So we yoink his sword and leave that sucker to die. I'm here for that princess Sussy, and I ain't sharing. Oh no, some low-level trash is in our way. Good thing we've got this sharp knife. So I start shanking people, and now we know how the stab button works. Progress. And hey, maybe I can light this torch. No MP? That's some bullshit. Oh wait, now I have MP. Now I can see betterer. And we are rewarded with some cash. I think you get the point. Everything you need to learn in order to play the game is naturally handed to you through experimentation, which is hilarious considering this is the same series that gave us Navi, the poster child for useless tutorial characters that never shut the hell up. You pop up topside and walk right on through the front door. Great security you've got there, of all the doors not to lock. Anyway, walk in and I'm immediately drawn to the left by the guard placement. That hall then sends me on a direct path towards the descending stairs, as we grab a map we won't even need and continue forward with full confidence. Now this next little section, I really wish they did more of, and you get to go all Metal Gear Solid and sneak past the guards, playing with the verticality to loop around them if they try and chase you. It does serve its purpose though, because you realize really fast that you don't need to waste time engaging the enemies unless you really have to. They rarely drop anything, so you're gonna get way more health and money from pots and bushes. And the few times a key was hidden on one, I just kinda knew, like, the game's weird like that.
I'm actually jealous of how much faster you got through the game than I used to. Mostly played it as a dumb kid who needed to attack every single enemy. But here you are, an adult with the brain of a child, walking past 80% of the fights.
I know, right? So weird. It's almost like I'm smarter than you and you just use big words to pretend you're gooder at talking. Oi, cunts! Check out this boomerang dingo I just found. We're gonna throw it round the Chazwala tonight at the Tibbery-Doo. Chodwaka? Speaking of cunts, it's the princess! We saved her. Time to cash in and get that over-the-pants handjob. But first we escape. Overworld time. We're gonna skip around a bit. It's linked to the past. Everyone watching this video has beaten it at least half a dozen times. This map layout right here is my shit. Whoever was in charge, good job, my homie. For real. You demand now, dog. Cause y'all gotta remember, I'm into arcade stuff. You know I'm speed running this. And by paying attention to the conversations and simply going point to point as told by the map, you don't miss out on anything. Yeah, I'm 1.5 hearts and maybe a few bombs away from 100%. But I also did 0 exploring outside of what the game told me to do. I'll keep it quick. Our priestly dude tells me to go to town, look for the sage or whatever, makes a big old X on my map, can't miss it. Go to town, ask around, instantly get a lead on where the guy I'm looking for ran off to. Cool. While I'm here, just walk around a bit, land that bottle and a bug net and a good couple rubies. We find the sage, we find our first dungeon, find the arrows, get some boots, boots get us the book gets us into the second dungeon, that's where we grab our glove, and now we've got access to Zora's waterfall, and it's all good. I can buy them expensive flippers with 0 grinding for rubies. Almost like every single thing in this game is perfectly tested and timed.
What about the mushroom?
What about not speaking unless you're spoken to? Sorry, I'm a little annoyed about that one. Kind of my fault. So, you find that mushroom at some random point, bring it to the witch, and she's all like, "Wahahaha, come back to the shop later, sweetheart, and I'll give you a surprise." And I'm like, sweet, free blowjob. But nah, only sucker here is me. Cause swear I came back several times, and it took me forever to catch on to why I just was not getting my toothy BJ, until someone whispered in my ear, "Hey guy, have you ever tried going inside the shop?" Yeah, a little embarrassing. Fuck Nintendo. Miyamoto did this on purpose to make me look bad. I'm onto you. But yeah, obviously Po Buddy's nerfed. A bit of hyperbole on my part. Like the armor progression. Technically, you can do things somewhat out of order, but in a typical run, I'm pretty sure you're gonna hit that 5th dungeon closer to the end, and that's the first time you get a new tunic. Then like 3 dungeons later, you get the fucking Deviant Art OC variant. Like bro, I could have used that first one at maybe dungeon 2. In fact, I'm a bit let down by the dungeon items near the end of the game in general. which does make a little sense. You can't just up things forever. But you start out so strong with items like the boomerang or the Pegasus boots. They are boots, I'm not calling them shoes, don't care. Getting a new item is exciting. It opens up new pathways and mechanics. But near the end, it's just new shirt, shitty rod, bigger shield, another shirt, whatever. I ain't trying to sound like a bitch.
Could have fooled me.
For every tiny little nitpick, there's something I absolutely love. But we're also trying to learn from the master, which means showcasing the weaknesses. Like, in what world could I not love Pink Bunny Link? That is the most adorable shit ever. I get why people love watching the dude bottom. Legit could not stop laughing for at least 3 to 4 minutes after the first time I saw it. I also really like these red gummy things for some reason. Like, I want to eat one. I'm pretty sure there's a cherry candy like this. I can legit taste it right now in my mental mind. Here's a real question for you guys. Again, we got a comment section, don't be afraid to use it. This fairy, right? You drop some rubies and wish for luck. You donate 100, she levels up your bomb and arrow count. But like, 1, do you really need that many bombs anyway? And 2, you're probably gonna have more money in this game than you know what to do with. So it's not like maxing out arrows is gonna take too many visits. So like, is this something you would leave out because it's too simple and could be spread out around the world? Or do you leave it in because it's convenient? Really am curious how people feel. And them big room clearing magic attacks, they look so cool, but does anyone actually use them? I really did avoid most of the fights and never had a reason to take out a bunch of guys at once. At least it never came to mind that I could in the moment. So yeah, kinda useless outside of unlocking some dungeons, or am I missing something? Did try to F around and break the game a little, and found out something cool about the random treasure chest games. Simple rules, you usually got 3 chests, pick one and keep the prize. So at first I'm thinking that the treasure chests just randomly shuffle whenever the room loads. But nah, every chest is the same object. They just work more like a slot machine. So every possible prize is in every single chest. The only thing that matters is where the roll is when you open it up. And I thought that was kinda neat. It lets you save a lot of time quickly reusing the asset, and you can just swap out the prizes. The button puzzles are also a bit of a staple, and I know it's simple, but you're underestimating how many people can't actually figure them out. I mean, we've got a subscribe button right there. Did any of you hit it yet? It's literally glowing. I mean, you're not afraid, are you? You wouldn't want the girls to think you're a pussy or something. Speaking of which, you will be getting none from these young maidens, but you will be getting an earful. And, gonna be honest, I think y'all are really over-exaggerating the text wall here. I was ready for an epic tomb, and instead they maybe spout 10 lines of info, which I'd guess was a lot for you older gamers back in 1912 or whenever the hell this came out. But my friend, in a game that is action-focused, I loved the extra little bit of world building. And if it's really too much for you, wait until you discover books exist. Another one that gets me is people being confused about the 4th dungeon, when I thought it was a great example of the game leading you visually. You're in this underground place, in the thief town, and I'm pretty sure we got dialogue from the thieves in the forest earlier about sunlight bothering them. That's why they live underground. Unless I'm hallucinating again. Could be. But you're exploring this place, and like, it's handing you bombs every few seconds, really encouraging you to throw them around. You go upstairs and you got this hallway that really emphasizes light coming in the window, and then you hit this big room with a very obvious blow this up spot. On top of that, the chick you're trying to rescue won't go out like she's legit afraid of light. So what's the confusing part? You didn't know you could throw the bomb? Did you not look at the manual with the picture of Link throwing it? Did you not read? In fact, I decided to look up the most common contemporary complaints about the game, and it's kind of sad, my guy. Number 1 is the knockback, not even going to address that stupidity, with number 2 being Link's tiny sword, which, no, BS. There are plenty of tiny dick dudes who know how to work it in bed. Trust me on that one. But what was really annoying are the complaints about getting lost and backtracking. First of all, did you just not pay attention to the NPCs telling you exactly where you needed to go? And number 2, bullshit. This was my first run effing about, and I cannot think of a single time I had to backtrack.
What about the mushroom?
Except for the fucking mushroom, I cannot think of a single time I had to backtrack. Now, this is where I will be a brat in complaining about the last boss being way too easy. I get this is a puzzle game, but it's also why I have a really hard time getting into the series. You're always kind of waiting for something big to happen, but the climaxes be rather tiny and disappointing. Again, I know the games are made for children, and Dark Souls is a thing if I really want a challenge. It's just underwhelming, that's all. And even though I've barely played a handful of RPGs from this time, I'm well aware of Phase 2 bosses getting big this gen, and even those optional mega bosses. So it's not like this couldn't have some super secret bonus dungeon for the adults who are a tiny bit masochistic and want more. Anyway, think we've poked enough holes in this game for now, so I'm gonna poke one more hole in Ganon real fast, and then we can go talk to Zelda about that handy we were promised at the start of the video. So, that be Legend of Zelda's Past History Check, a classic that got that designation for a reason. 10 out of 10, highly recommend you try this very popular game that's been available for 300 years in case you just never got around to it. Obviously, nothing's perfect, but we had to go out of our way when looking for flaws, and it would be beyond dishonest to pretend I wasn't having a blast nearly every moment of the game. But again, what do you say about a game that everyone has talked about? Neither of us wanted to cover it, but I really wanted to finally play it, so why not use the excuse of self-education? And there's a couple of other overly discussed games we want to check out too in the same kinda loosey-goosey way. It's been a while since we've put out our own indie title, and it could be an interesting angle. We don't want to just have another talk about Final Fantasy VI. We want to make a Final Fantasy VI, you dig? And we are going to start sharing some of the progress on that project soon, as well as talking about some of our other games, since they all are the same universe, and Vicious is about to turn 10 years old. Anyway, shout out to all those lovely people still watching, a thank you to everyone grabbing up those adopts, and I need to go find me a Minda costume. Hey, what's up with the duck coming in to give you a lift near the end? Like, it looks cool or whatever, but that totally breaks the rules of how the Dark World works, right?